whatever you do when your family gathers, don't bring up politics or religion. You don't want to cause anger or start arguments. If the family doesn't agree, there can be no civil conversation. And a dinner party without conversation ends up with overloaded plates, the sound of chewing, and the need to loosen your belt and take a nap after overeating. The American family Thanksgiving. My mother was an ardent Kennedy Democrat. She loved the glamour of Jack and Jackie, their style, and the whole Camelot myth. But the politics of the time were volatile. The anti-war movement and the protests against the escalation in Vietnam, civil rights and the Black Panther movement, and the shock of JFK's assassination, followed by the tragedy of Martin Luther King's murder, and then Robert Kennedy. It was 1968, and I was 10 years old, and my mama decided that we needed to buy a television so that we could watch the Democratic National Convention in Chicago. So Johnson refused to run, and lengthy politicking left us with a weak candidate in Hubert Humphrey. Most of the attention was on Mayor Richard J. Daley's vicious police assaults on angry anti-war protesters in the streets of Chicago. It was an eye-opening introduction to politics. And then, in November, Mama was furious when the country chose Nixon. After all the promise of what was being accomplished with the Kennedy-Johnson administration, we were sliding back with Nixon. The frustration that she felt about ignorant voters and the anger she felt back then, I understand now with my own anger in 2024 on Election Day. Mama hosted her brothers and sisters for Thanksgiving every year, and the Tapmeyers and the Benders all came to our house from Rolla, Missouri, Midland, Michigan, and South St. Louis in November of 1968. With the Democrats defeated and Nixon in the White House, politics should have been off the table. But my Uncle Pete thought it would be funny for people to pin Nixon campaign buttons on their shirt fronts while Mama was getting dessert ready in the kitchen. She returned to the dining room to see Nixon's the one buttons on everyone except my dad and me and my siblings. Did they expect her to laugh? Was she supposed to say, "Oh, Pete, that's crazy"? Or did they think she might explode or yell? What happened? She said nothing. She pretended she didn't see the buttons. She ignored it all, and the gag fell flat. I don't actually remember what happened next. I suppose the jokers were embarrassed that the conversation limped along, or maybe we ate in silence. But my mother had her revenge. In 1972, the committee to re-elect the president, aptly named CREEP, broke into the DNC's office in the Watergate Hotel. Scandal ensued, but Nixon was re-elected in a landslide, despite Woodward and Bernstein, Deep Throat, and all. As the months passed and anger at President Nixon's involvement in the crimes and the cover-ups became apparent, our family, along with an estimated 85% of the country, was again glued to the television that summer, this time for the Watergate hearings. The drama. Did Nixon know? Was he involved in the crimes? Was he a crook? Denial, disinformation, destruction of evidence. On the verge of being impeached, Nixon resigned the presidency, becoming the only US president to do so. Thanksgiving Day, 1974. Uncle Pete and all the other relatives were in denial, not admitting that their president was a criminal, a failure, a slimeball. He was the one tacitly encouraging the crimes. He was the one to approve the cover-up. He was the one responsible for betraying our country. When Mama came out of the kitchen with the pumpkin pie, she was wearing that old campaign button. Because, yes, she said, Nixon's the one. Thank you.